Thinking about launching a podcast but overwhelmed by all the moving parts? At TurnKey Podcast Productions, we take the hassle out of podcasting so you can focus on the talk, not the tech. From concept to launch, guest booking to post-production, we handle everything. Need a strategy to grow your show and turn guests into clients? Yep, we do that too. DIY or done for you, we've got the solution that fits. Whether you're just getting started or ready to scale, TurnKey is your behind-the-scenes podcast team. TurnKey Podcast Productions. Your voice, your message, fully produced. Learn more at turnkeypodcast.com/contact. That's turnkeypodcast.com/contact.
Here's what's next on the Nice Guys on Business.
Again, having a good broker is really, really instrumental to the safety of your business and your assets, because you have to have someone that's capable of explaining to you what a particular problem is and also spotting that problem beforehand. Yes, you can load it through the AI, but the AI is going to tell you, okay, it's an exclusion of this, this, and this. Do you know what that means? Yeah, so it's a great business to be in. I've been doing it almost 15 years. We're going on our 15th year. We're bringing more people in. It's a very interesting problem in this business where it's kind of aging out, and there's a really serious staffing issue happening. So for every 4 people that are retiring, there's only 1 person coming in. Yeah. So business opportunity wise, it's great for me because now I can look into like mergers and acquisitions and things of that sort. I mean, I love it.
The Nice Guys apologize for any inconvenience that this podcast has caused anyone. By the way, is there anyone listening who knows how to fly a plane? Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
All right, Nice Guy community, welcome back to the show. Most business owners would rather do almost anything other than shop for insurance, which is exactly why today's guest is here. Michael Senderovich. He's the founder and CEO of Zager Insurance, helping business owners cut through the confusion. And it's just not confusion. It's sometimes, the annoyance that you may find when you hear the word insurance. Don't let that be an annoyance for you. I think early on in my career, like the last thing I wanted to think of is who else can I pay for a service that I don't think that I need, but you actually do need insurance. So Michael is here from Zager Insurance, and he's going to help us get the right amount of coverage without overpaying. He's helped thousands of companies protect their businesses while making insurance way less painful than it actually sounds. Michael, I'm excited to chat. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Likewise. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So why is it that most businesses just hate to talk about or think about insurance?
Oh, that's a good question. I think most of it comes from the fact that people are like, we're never going to use it. We're just paying the insurance companies, the big bad insurance companies taking money from me, and we're never going to see a benefit. And I'm married to a defense attorney, funny enough, that works with a lot of insurance companies, and that's who she does the defense for, amongst other things. I can tell you, people get sued, and they get sued often, and the insurance companies come to the rescue. You're talking about a policy that may cost a business person, I don't know, $2,200, $2,500 a year, and then all of a sudden they're in a lawsuit, and the legal fees are alone,
oh my gosh,
50, 60, 100, 300,000, depending on the severity of the lawsuit. You're buying this stuff to protect you in the event of, I guess, a quote unquote catastrophic type of event, but you need the insurance.
All right, so you mentioned a couple things in there. You actually shared a price, a premium, I would say, $2,200, $2,500, something like that. I don't even know what kind of insurance that would be for, but let's talk about that so that we understand it. What type of insurance generally are business owners not even thinking about, or they should be thinking about if they own their own business?
Well, I'll start with the most common one. That would be the general liability. So for a business like, let's say, an ice cream shop, a general liability policy is going to be like a premises type of thing. So if someone does a slip and fall, for companies that are like, let's say on the manufacturing side, they'll need general liability with products coverage. That's kind of the most common one. A lot of times people don't think that they need it. They do. The big topic of conversation right now, and actually I was just having a meeting with my staff earlier today, is cyber liability. People don't think they need cyber. Well, I'm a contractor. Why would I need cyber? Well, if you do anything on the internet, that could be a potential leak. And there's hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes needed, for remedy. And that's where insurance companies come in.
So there's some common terms that I've heard that maybe our nice guy community and maybe even me just need to be enlightened or educated about. What is something like liability insurance, and then what is something like errors and omissions insurance? Because we recently entered a relationship with a partner that we are white labeling our services for,
Mhm.
and he wanted to make sure that we had errors and omissions insurance. So I'm like, oh,
Sure.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what that really is. I mean, I know what errors and omissions are, but maybe you can enlighten our community.
Yeah, of course. So errors and omissions is actually a form of liability insurance. If you kind of think it this way, if you can hurt someone by whatever means, whether it be financially, physically, etc., that would be a form of liability insurance. Property insurance is the other side of the equation, where if you own property, you have property, or hopefully you have property coverage. Maybe you don't. In that case, talk to us. We'll take care of you. But those are really the two primary things. So in the kind of errors and omissions, also sometimes known as professional liability side, what you're protecting people against is an error
Mhm.
or an omission that you may have in the services that you provide. Typical businesses that would need errors and omissions would be something like a drafting company, an architect, an insurance agent. So if you're doing anything that has to do with any kind of liability, that's kind of like the broad general term.
So I think about it as a production company, and I could say something like, "Well, our editors, they're in people's content all the time, and if there is a statement that somebody made, and the guest is saying that person is definitely not an asshole, but the editor accidentally deletes the not. It could be a person definitely is an
Yeah.
asshole. Now,
Yeah.
so you take somebody and you're now using, I know that's a far extreme, but there are things that we could do by accident
Yeah,
in
of
in, uh,
course.
in producing an episode that we don't realize that, hey, we've taken out a really critical element in the editing process. Is that something that errors and omissions insurance could possibly cover?
That's a good question. It could be. Libel and slander is a difficult topic. So it's something that you really have to communicate with your insurance broker. I always kind of stress the relationship. What I mean by that is it's a two-way street. If you don't tell your broker or your agent, whoever it is that you're dealing with, and I can, kind of briefly tell you the difference between the two, what is going on, what your concerns are, we can't guess. And if we do guess, that can actually put us at liability, funny enough.
Right, right.
So we have to have an open stream of communication between the two parties. And technically, it's actually three parties because there's the insurance company, there could be more, there could be underwriters, etc. So we just want to be clear. And clarity is really the best tool in your arsenal when it comes to getting yourself properly insured. The cleaner you can make things, the better you can outline your business and let the, insurance broker know, the better things are going to be. The question is does your insurance broker know what to do with that information? Because sometimes they don't. Typically, brokers and agents, they have to deal with a lot of different types of business,
Right.
including like trying to get your homeowner's insurance or your life insurance, etc. Our brokerage is designed very differently. We are strictly business. We have partners that we partner with if someone needs something outside of the scope of the work that we do. For example, we don't do payroll and HR services.
Okay.
So we can refer you to a company that does. But yeah, that like it's just clarity is so, so important. We've had situations where a client comes back to us and says, "Well, I don't want to tell you this because I don't want to pay more for insurance." Well, why are you getting insurance? So if you don't want to tell me this and then you get sued for that thing and the insurance company comes back to you and says, "We're not going to cover you because you didn't do that thing. You told us you didn't do that thing." What's the point, right? Just don't buy it at all.
So it's interesting because you mentioned a word, and I think it's really important that all of us in all of those in our community, including our business, you need to understand it. It's the relationship that you have with your broker or the agent that is selling you the insurance or that you're buying the insurance from. Without that relationship, you could probably save money, maybe a few dollars online by doing something very cut and dry on doing an online policy that really doesn't answer the question, though. How do you make sure that you are removing the risk from your business and putting it into the
Right.
insurance? So it seems to make sense that the relationship is critical.
Yeah.
Where and do you have anything to say about that before I move on?
No, that's a really, really great point. I mean, just to kind of sort of add to that is the burden falls on you when you're buying stuff online. Do you really know what you're getting? I can't tell you how many instances we've had of clients that come to us and go, "Hey, okay, well, to take a look at our policies and let me know." I just a couple of months ago, I had a bookkeeper that sent me her policies. Number one, she didn't have cyber liability, so we took care of that. And then she was also categorized improperly. She was put under accounting services, like an actual accounting firm. So she was paying like 3 or 4 times the amount that she should be paying. So things like that. But yeah, it's a complicated subject. It could be made very, very simple by talking to the right people.
Got it. Got it. And when in the process of either starting a side hustle, owning your own business, expanding, scaling, any of the formats of and stages of a business, when is it, to your best advice, would you encourage someone to meet with someone that would have the skill set that you have?
It depends. We have many people that come to us before the business is even a reality. It's just an idea. And I go, "Hey, how much do you think this is going to cost?" And we can give them very, very rough estimates. If it's a relatively high risk business, then we tell them, "Look, you're going to be stuck with possibly this amount, maybe more, maybe less. We won't know until we actually, put pen to paper and get applications out to the various different carriers that we work with." My suggestion is don't wait. It's very tricky to insure someone that's already operating if they don't have the insurance, because policies are designed in a way where they're going to give you the quote unquote benefit. Benefit's not really the right word, but I think you understand what I mean in that. When the policy becomes effective. So the effective and expiration dates are very, very important with triggers and claims and things like that. So if you come to me and you've been operating for 10 years without insurance, well, I can't do anything about those 10 prior years. What I can do is I can insure you for the future. So just be cognizant of the timing. As far as with us, my guys and gals that work with me, you can talk to us at any point in time. We're happy to let you know which direction you should be going in as far as the insurance. And of course, we do have all the different resources that we could provide for our partners or with our partners. It really depends on the risk tolerance also of the person. I can't tell you how many times people come to us and say, "I'm really, really good at what I do. I don't need insurance."
Okay.
All right. Well, if you're happy to test that out, right, it's your risk tolerance. There's no legal requirement for you to have general liability with the exception of certain trades and licenses.
Right.
There is a legal, liability that you have and a requirement that you have for workers' compensation, especially in the state of California. Other states as well. Some states are monopoly states. That's a different topic all in itself. But if you just need to know where you are risk-wise, yes, we're brokers, but in a way we're kind of evaluating, figuring out the risk. And we're going to help you kind of navigate that and really help you understand what kind of risk you're in. And if you think that risk is negligible, even after talking to us and you don't want to buy liability or whatever, insurance we're talking about, fine. But if we're going in the direction of actually moving towards a policy, we'll help you navigate all of that. Being a broker, we have access to probably over 100 insurance companies through various underwriters. So we can look at all of the different options that are available, and getting insurance the first time around is actually a tiny bit more difficult because there's no history for the insurance company to look at.
Right.
So we work with people on that. We're going to look at premium A this year. We're going to see what we could do next year because now you have, a little bit of coverage history. So there's a lot of moving parts.
I'm assuming that insurance is really based upon the industry that you're in and the risk that you're trying to counteract. For example, somebody that is a welder might have a much higher business insurance policy than someone that is, for example, a baker or a podcast producer because of the dangerous element that they are working with. So I know it's hard to say exactly what someone's premium would be for a specific type of insurance. It really is something that they need to have a conversation, and not because there's a sales conversation involved, because there's got to be some education for not only the broker, you involved, right, but also for the client as well. Is that correct?
Right, absolutely. In the case of, let's say, the welder, I haven't heard of any loaves of bread exploding at people's homes, so the fire risk is probably low on that.
Right.
But in terms of welders, which we work a lot with, we are very heavy in the construction trades. So a welder can be welding something very simple or something very complicated. There's structural welding, there's non-structural welding, and that's very important information for us to know. So, for example, a structural welder will pay a lot more money because the risk is much higher. If they're welding beams that are going and they're supporting, certain structures, et cetera, or even stair railings, that's really important. Someone walks down the stair, the railing fails, they fall. It's a big liability. So yeah, the cost definitely is reflective of the risk that you're like your business risk. How risky are you to the world is kind of a way to look at it.
So there's a number of different types of insurances that are out there. If someone is coming to you as a complete newbie in the world of insurance, where does generally the conversation progress to as it relates to the vehicle, the type of insurance that they're going to start with?
Right. It depends. It depends on the business. Most of the time, if you're leasing a space, you're going to need some form of general liability because the lease usually dictates that that's a requirement. With regard to, let's say, cyber liability or property insurance, things like that, that's a conversation that gets expanded on. When we talk to our clients or prospects, the first thing that we ask them is just tell us about your business. What do you got going on? If you've got 5 trucks, if you've got no trucks, if you've got a CNC machine or no CNC machine, if you're doing podcasting and things of that sort. So we look at it from a kind of a holistic perspective. We just need to know what it is that you're doing, and then we'll walk you through the types of coverage that we recommend that you have. Is if you're going online and trying to look through this stuff, even if you're using AI, we use AI all the time here now. It's wonderful, but AI, you have to prompt, right? You have to ask the right question in order for it to answer the question. So you can ask it, hey, what kind of insurance should I have as a podcaster? And I'll give you a list, but do you really understand what each one of those does? And not only that, like even if you go individually and prompt the AI to say, okay, explain it to me, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be what you're going to get, because that's a general overview of how these policies work. And really the important thing here is the quote itself. So that the proposal that you're getting from the insurance company, that's going to have things in there that are going to be good for you. It's going to have things that are going to be that are not so good for you. And that's where you need someone to navigate. And going back to AI, you can upload that document and say, hey, what's the problem here? And it can give you the problems. But do you really understand how to navigate through those problems? It's a wonderful tool. In fact, and now I'm actually kind of encouraging my clients when there's a proposal, hey, throw this into AI. Let it see what it does and what it doesn't do. But the proposals themselves have very limited information. So you could have, let's say, a soap manufacturer, and that could be the description on the policy. But that soap manufacturer could also be doing other things like lotions and things like that. So, and that wouldn't really fully break it down on that proposal. So there could be coverage gaps, and that's where you need to look at the application. And again, that like two-way street, I always come back to it. Just talk to your broker. Hopefully it's us, we'll be happy to help you out. You don't have to take your time with like looking through every little detail. That's the job of the broker. If you trust the broker, you're going to be fine. If you don't, then you should probably look for a different broker.
One of the things that I noticed as I was doing some research for the podcast episode and our talk today was just the different types of insurance, the different industries also that you appeal to. And one of the nice things about it, nice guy community, general liability insurance, commercial auto, workers' comp, commercial property, professional liability, cyber liability, commercial and umbrella insurance. All of those are covered by Michael and his team over at Zager. What I really loved when I went to your site, especially, was online convenience, real human guidance. How often is it that some of these companies, nice guy community that we're working with, from a professional perspective, they have all the online access that you want, but when it comes to talking to a human being, it makes it very, very difficult. You can't even find a phone number for some of the companies that are out there.
Yeah,
so love the fact that you have the real human guidance right up there in the headline of your website. That's really good.
Yeah, it's actually there's a funny thing about that. Most of, if not all, of the stuff that you can get online, those companies, they solicit agents and brokers like us to sell their product.
Right.
And it's funny, I'm not going to name names here, but there's one particular one that's very big in small business, and they just got recently purchased by another very, very big company. And they are one of those companies where you just can't find a telephone number for. Well, we can do what's called a broker of record on your policy, and then we can be the person that you talk to on the phone for that same exact product.
That is very cool. Well, that's very interesting. I did not know that that was even possible. Outside of the insurance world, I'd love to talk to you. Just you're a business owner, so I'd love to talk to you if it's okay with you about just some advice to those that are in our community,
Yeah,
and so
of
that
course.
people can see kind of your journey that you've taken along the way. You probably weren't on the sixth grade playground talking to your buddies and say, "Hey, you know what? When I grow up, I'm going to be an insurance agent or I'm going to be an insurance broker." When did this hit your radar as something that you wanted to get into?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I definitely didn't do that. Uh,
Okay.
I actually sort of fell into the insurance business. So I had a prior business also in the financial field. I sold it and then I went back to school. So I got my MBA, and as I was getting my MBA, I was looking at all the different businesses and industries, and talking to my cohort and professors. That hey, like where can I go? And it was always entrepreneurial. It's not like hey, where can I get hired? It's what do I open up and do? And my mother, she did life insurance for many years, and they built a wonderful family for us with that income, and we traveled and had a really great time, wonderful childhood, and also immigrant parents, so that's like it was amazing they were able to do that. And when I was doing my research, there was a when you're getting your MBA, there's a lot of case studies. So you look at all these different businesses and what they're doing and how they're doing it, and the things just kept coming back to certain financial institutions, larger insurance companies, because they kind of have their
Yeah,
tentacles in a lot of different industries, right?
sure.
So I kind of kept thinking to myself, it's going to be either real estate or it's going to be insurance. And by real estate, it's like buying investment properties and
Right.
building up that basically that net, right? And real estate has a very large initial capital expenditure, and I didn't have that money at the time. So I was like, what else can I do? What else can I build that is similar to real estate? And insurance kept popping up, property and casualty insurance, property and casualty, because you bring the client in, you hold the client. It's
Right.
kind of like a tenant, right?
Right.
So as long as you do good by the insured, which is our client, there's a very high chance that they're going to renew with you, probably in the 90 percentile range. So I built the business off of that basis, or I went into the business off of that basis. Uh, Everybody wants to hustle and struggle, and like it's you got to go and full speed ahead, right? Got
Right.
to eat the
Right.
dirt. And yeah, of course, like that's how I started the business. I mean, I literally borrowed money from my student loans. I guess I'm not supposed to, kind of disclose that, but
Understood. It's okay. Nobody's
I
listening.
paid, I'm paying, I paid off the majority of my student loans, and yeah, so with regard to that, I needed a business that I knew was going to be scalable and something that I didn't have to do over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not necessarily like we're doing things over and over again, but I didn't want to continue the hustle. When I saw my parents do what they did, life insurance doesn't have very good residuals. It does, but it has residuals, but they're not very
Right.
high compared to like
Right.
property and casualty. So I saw that my mom was constantly stressed out about finding the next client and keeping the client and so on. And it's not a very different struggle here, but it's different in the way that it pays you. So once you bring them on board here, once the renewal happens, that likelihood of them renewing is very high, and you can obviously stack on top of that. Look, people are going to leave. We can't service everyone. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to let clients go. So it's not like perfect. It's not 100% retention. I don't think any business is,
Right.
but it is very stable. The insurance business in itself is very stable. And the reason we chose commercial is actually far more stable
Right.
than personal property and
Right.
casualty.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, in a way, but I'm constantly getting solicited by different insurance companies to sell their product. So it's a lot. It's a lot of information, and I have to look through the products to see what the products are actually capable of doing, because the details are really what are important here. You can have a policy that looks identical across the board, but when you look into the details of it, it could be completely different. These you could have 3, 4, 5, 10 different proposals, and every single one of them has something that is added or removed, and that's what could really make or break a policy. And that's where, again, having a good broker is really instrumental to the safety of your business and your assets, because you have to have someone that's capable of explaining to you what a particular problem is and also spotting that problem beforehand. Yes, you can load it through the AI, but the AI is going to tell you, okay, it's an exclusion of this, this, and this. Do you know what that means? So it's a great business to be in. I've been doing it almost 15 years. We're going on our 15th year. We're bringing more people in. It's a very interesting problem in this business where it's kind of aging out, and there's a really serious staffing issue happening. So for every four people that are retiring, there's only one person coming in.
Yeah.
So business opportunity wise, it's great for me because now I can look into like mergers and acquisitions and things of that sort. I mean, I love it.
So it's interesting because when most people think about insurance, they think about a lot of paperwork, pretty boring,
Yep.
maybe not the best career, not from a dollar perspective, but just excitement perspective to get into. What was it about the business itself did you like? And a lot of people get into business because they're chasing dollars, and unfortunately that lasts only so long, and you're well beyond the that initial excitement of I'm chasing dollars. Now you're beyond that. Now you still are doing the same thing, meaning you still have money that's coming in the door. But what is it about the business that really excites you nowadays?
It's the same thing that kind of excited me in the beginning is just solving the problem. I'm going to kind of pivot slightly.
Yeah,
We're not like going to go fully off topic, but I wanted to kind of mention something. There's a book that
sure.
I read many moons ago called E-Myth by
Yeah,
Michael
of
Gerber.
course. Yeah, of course.
And I think if you structure your business, whatever business you're in, if you structure your business properly and you stick to whatever it is that you're really good at, you're going to be happy and you're going to be able to grow that business. When you try to wear too many hats,
Mm.
it's not going to work. You know, when I started this business, I am not good at customer service. I will admit that from here to the moon. I'm not good at customer service. That's not what I do. I don't get excited by it. In fact, I hate it.
It's so funny. That's the
Yeah.
thing that I love most about my business is the customer service. I love
See?
it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the retention. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the relationship build. All of those things is what leads me into the business that I'm in. It's funny you say that. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep
Different
going.
personalities, right?
Right, right.
So for me, like my personality is I really love the problem solving and to fix whatever issue we have to fix,
Yeah.
not on the back end. You know, when I'm talking about customer service, when a client is our client, this document needs to be issued to a vendor, or what number do I call to make my premium payment? Like that doesn't excite me. And of course,
Right.
I'm going to help you,
Right.
but it's
Right.
not my personality. And we've built out our company in a way where we can get this done so incredibly fast and efficiently for our client. Like everything is at our fingertips, so we could provide that to your
Yep.
fingertips.
Yep.
So I'm in a business networking group. Actually, we had a meeting early this morning, and it was a similar question, like what excites you and what should clients like kind of think about when dealing with you? And I go, it's not really so much me as it is my team. We've built out an incredible team.
Yeah.
It's a day and night team, so we've
Yeah.
got folks during the working a day at night.
Yep.
Like you'll get your stuff. You're gonna get it much faster from us than like probably 98% of the other agencies that are out there or brokerages that are out there. So building that is what really excites me. Like doing this and talking to people about what is really required, why you should have insurance, the importance of having insurance. That's what really excites me.
Yeah, it's funny because we both approach things from a different angle, but it's the same end result. I enjoy problem solving, but I like the people element very much so. I mean, I really like the relationship. I couldn't care. I mean, I love my clients in the podcast production business, and I hope I keep them forever. But it could be podcast production or it could be basket weaving. It doesn't really matter to me as long as I'm in a position to do it. You know, I think about, you brought up Michael Gerber's E-Myth, and I think about all the time Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week,
Yep.
because we've been in a
It's up there.
position yeah, there you go. I'm sure it's up there too. We've been in a position to hire a great team that will take on the roles and the responsibilities that my partner and I don't want to. He's a great systems guy. He's a
Yeah.
great process guy. He's a great problem solver, and he loves all of the back end stuff to create the elements to get the machine to run. I don't have any idea how those things work. I know how they're put together, but I don't really, it doesn't excite me at all. I just keep saying, just point me in the right direction to solve a problem for a client. I'm happy to do it. Isn't that what's so cool about running a business and doing your own thing? I mean, just give some of the lessons that you've learned along the way of business ownership to those that are in our community that are thinking about or have just started a business, whether it's insurance advice or just business advice. What would you share with a business community of entrepreneurs that's just trying to figure out what is their next step or what are they going to do when they grow up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's so many different ways to answer it. I think that if you were trying to find where you fit in, is just really think about what you're good at. If you're good at talking to people, learn sales. There's an age-old saying, if you learn how to sell, you'll never go hungry.
Right.
Yeah, if you're really good at problem solving, analytical stuff, then great, maybe engineering or a manufacturing company. I mean, there's so many different opportunities. We've got so many people contacting us with 3D printing companies. And they're doing such amazing things for so many different industries,
Yeah.
including aerospace. And
Yeah.
like, I've got a client, their client is a very big aerospace company, which I can't say what, but they do fire a lot of rockets in the air. I'm sure you can figure that out. Uh, so like there's so much excitement that could be found in this world if you look for the excitement. I
Yeah.
mean, if you
Yeah.
expect things to kind of land in your lap, it's kind of a strange way of living, but you know, it may or may not happen.
Right. Right.
With our company, it's like we don't wait for things to happen. We just go. If there's a problem, we got to figure this problem out, and we got to figure it out now.
Yep.
If it's a teamwork problem, if it's an organizational problem, if it's a carrier problem, we got to figure it out, and we got to do it sooner than later because it's our obligation to the client. We're not just selling a policy. We have to nurture that relationship. We have to make sure that the client is getting what they need when they need it. So there's a lot of moving parts. If you're, really good at managing those moving parts, go to management. Go to like systems. There's so many different things. You could work at a warehouse. If you're trying to start your own warehouse business, I highly recommend it. We've got clients that are doing it, and they're leasing to major companies that use their warehouses. And the opportunities are endless. I've mentioned AI like 1,000 times. That's like the topic of conversation for everyone right now. I'm not scared. I think that it's going to just catapult everything that we are capable of doing, and I'm excited for it. Use it, like talk to it, figure out where your strengths are. I mean, you can literally ask AI what your strengths are, and they'll probably tell you.
Yeah.
Use those strengths, and there's probably a business there if you can fix someone's problem. And if there are enough people that have the same problem, you probably have a pretty good business idea.
Agreed. And again, nice guy community, the guy behind the guy that runs the business, you can see that Michael knows, yes, he knows insurance, and I think that's really important, but he understands the value of running the business, running it effectively. Definitely has the gift of talking. I always share with my clients, especially as someone that is in the podcast production business. I listen with two ears. One, for what advice can you provide to our community or into our listenership, and the other is, hey, would this guy actually be good behind a microphone sharing what he's doing? Because I keep thinking about, man, to have a business owner, someone that has a 10 or a 20 or $100 million business, sit across a podcast microphone from you, have a conversation with them, and then continue the conversation, except maybe turn it slightly and talk then about insurance to this person. So definitely you have that gift, and I so appreciate you sharing your business advice and your insurance advice to our community that's out there.
Thank you.
If someone is interested in getting more information or get a hold of you so that they can find out a little bit more about how you do what you do, how would they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can email me. My email is michael@613ins.com. So email me anytime. I'm looking through emails all the time. I've got little kids. When I put them to sleep, it's email time.
I understand.
There's my link tree. I'm sure you'll provide the link. It's linktree/Mike the Insurance Guy. If you have any questions, if you're not trying to buy insurance, I'm still happy to talk to you. We're business people. It's a helping environment that I like to be a part of. That's why I'm also a part of this networking group that I'm in. Business is hard, and doing it right is practically impossible. So when you are talking to other people or getting advice from people that have done it, it's so helpful. Sometimes people fear of talking to really successful people. Oh, they're not going to tell me anything. They're not going to give me trade secrets. It's the opposite of the truth.
Totally.
Most successful people that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, let's sit down. Obviously, you have to find the time,
right,
and be very respectful of their time. But they'll sit down and tell you what they can help you with or where they can lead you. Obviously, they're not going to tell you their trade secrets, but they will at least kind of give you something and help you in whichever way. Sometimes it's just talking to them and getting some motivation. Hey, this person's so incredibly charismatic or whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, reach out. We're happy to talk. All the telephone numbers and everything like that. It's on our website. we're licensed in a variety of different states. If we're not licensed in the particular state that you're in, no problem. We can still talk to you, and we could probably still tell you where to go.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for your advice. Thanks for all the information. And I'm excited to get some positive feedback from our community. Michael, appreciate your world of wisdom and being on the show today.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Thanks so much. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Michael Senderovich. All of his information, including access to his website, will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Thanks for listening to The Nice Guys on Business. Please go to patreon.com/niceguys. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help support this show. You remember that thing down in Panama, right? Come on, you owe them.